The next speaker is Raymond, and Raymond Kemp is going to talk about what does leadership look like when your brain doesn't follow the standard playbook. And he's a retired fleet master chief with 33 years of experience shaping resilient, mission-driven cultures in the US Navy. He now equips executives and elite teams to lead with clarity and purpose while embracing the unique advantages of ADHD. Now, get ready to rethink what effective leadership really looks like through the lens of someone navigating with a different compass. Welcome, Raymond.
Thank you very much, Gigi, for that introduction. And I'm telling you right now, I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof just off the strength that you you guys talking already. Every time you said you're a leader, I said, you're right. I am a leader. I lead the way and I lead it all the way. So thank you very much for being those who jumped out front. And it's a pleasure to be a part of this team. For everyone, I've got a question. What happens when your leadership instincts, your natural wiring don't match the standard playbook? What if your brain doesn't operate in a straight line? For me, it's really simple. Do it anyway. Lead anyway. You don't panic. You breathe. You own the helm. Yes, I'm in the Navy, so I'm gonna say, I got some navigational things. You own the helm, and you lead the way on purpose. So, from my perspective and life experience, I just want to encourage those who either perhaps someone who is making their way through this life with ADHD, or perhaps you're leading someone, maybe even you. The thing is that we must understand, I'd just like to encourage you that it's okay. It's okay that you don't use the standard playbook. It's okay that you don't necessarily follow things in a straight line. That divergence, that different way of looking at things is something that I'm positive that we can stand in when we realize that even if we have been told, like for me, my entire life, I've been told, look, you need to learn how to control that. What I realized, because it wasn't a late stage uh, diagnosis for me, is something that I have lived my entire life. And when I realized that I can operate in this type of way, I realized that ADHD did not hold me back. It actually trained me to lead. It trained me to look at things in a way where I could see the chaos and then find the patterns. I had the ability to problem solve and see beyond what other people thought of as confusion and again chaos. And for me, I could track out those patterns. It allowed me to find clarity in a mission, not because my mind was calm, but because it wasn't. It made me more disciplined because that was the only way to go forward. The Navy has a very particular structure. There's left and right lateral limits that are very precise. Your day is scheduled very succinctly so that you know exactly what to do. And you would think initially, oh, somebody with ADHD, perhaps that doesn't fit. And it didn't at first until I learned the consequences and repercussions, but till I learned how to stand in my own strength. And so, though there were left, right, lateral limits, there was no ceiling. And so I could always
Mm.
go up. And because I understood that discipline allowed me to lead just in a very different way. I didn't look back and think sadly upon things that had gone by. I was encouraged and I looked forward. It allowed me to have innovative ideas. And even in a space like the Navy, where there's lots of rules and regulations, because my why in life is to find a better way and share it with other people, I found a way to make those innovative ideas known within the framework, and everything worked out pretty darn good. The thing is, when you're leading people, it is very important that we express a measure of care. There's someone who said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I believe that to be true. When you share and care with your team, that will create a space for them to speak openly and freely with you, and that communication is critical, crucial in very high levels of leadership. And I don't mean high level as in high up in the rank structure or high up within a business or organization. I mean, when it comes down to the things that are important to your folks. Being able to talk to those folks who have this particular condition is it's important that you know that they can hyper focus. It's important that you give them space to do that. It's it's meaningful when people realize that they're in a safe space, a psychologically safe space, but in a safe space where they can communicate, share ideas. We recognize those ideas often in the presence of others, or maybe even privily, but the ability to see that person and realize that they have that skill is very, very, very important. And it will create that space for them to be even more innovative. And what we know for sure when it comes to leadership is that when you encourage a certain behavior in the presence of others, the other people who may not have realized it was a safe space to do that, again, come up with these innovative ideas, will then begin to come with those ideas as well. And when we encourage people to treat one another with dignity and respect, that space is one that will allow us to change the world. Realize that we can change the world from the workplace outward. So when people come to work and they get treated with dignity and respect, they're not just going to be selfish with that and not treat anybody else like that. They'll take that home. They'll treat their families and friends with dignity and respect. And it'll go from the workplace to their homes, then into the community, and then we change the world. And I think it's worth doing, expressing that level of care for others, and then realizing that when we apply that, it is going to be something that goes beyond even the workplace. Now, when it comes to owning the helm, again, I really think it's important that when we understand what it means to have this neurodivergence in whatever capacity it may be, when we realize it's ours, walk that thing out. I'm stuck being 6 feet tall. There's nothing I can do about that. So if I walk through a low walk, so I go to a space with a low ceiling, I duck. It's just I have to deal with that. When I sit on an airplane, shucky ducky, I either got to pay for a seat that's appropriate, or I just got to fold up like Megatron and fit in there. The thing is that I'm owning who I am, and I think that goes beyond just physical, like I'm describing now, but also when it comes down to those who have that divergence. And so, if you're a leader leading someone who may fall outside of the standard, they're not neurotypical, then help them understand how they too can own the helm, understand their wiring and what that means to the workplace and at home, because we're not only leaders in the workplace, by the way, we may be leaders in the community, maybe leaders in our household, regardless of that household dynamic. Leadership is who we all are. Just as Dr. Gigi was saying, we are leaders. Understanding this, I think, is really important. I tell my clients this all the time: make a decision and step out on it, and then maintain the executive authority to change your mind. I told my daughter this just the other day. She had a certain degree field that she had moved out in and was enjoying it. And then there was another opportunity in the workplace. And I said, hey, look, you have the executive authority to change your mind. So understanding it's okay to course correct. And one of the best ways for us to do this is is leadership by example. Here are a couple of strategies that I just know work. From I think Dan said, from the battlefield to the boardroom. It's just these things work. It just so happens that I learned and experienced them out, in the Navy or on the field with the Marines and with the Army as well. But these things work for sure. The anchor points create that structured routine and ground your day. Having a structure is not a bad thing. Having a routine is not a bad thing. For someone with ADHD, as a person, I should say, with ADHD, I make a living off of routine things, because routine things should happen routinely. And I can stay on track and do some self-governing. When it comes down to the ways I do that, also come with visual management tools. I have sticker notes probably in more places than most. I have a big whiteboard behind me. You can probably see the edge of it, so that I can make sure that I stay on track. And then one of the things that's supremely important, and we as leaders should consider this as well: having good, forceful backup. People that will not just hold me accountable, but also do that measure of encouragement as well. In the workplace, when we have small teams and large, this is one of the ways that creates a space for those neurodivergent personnel to be highly successful. And then be the leader that you're wired to be. Once you identify yourself, then you have a responsibility. Knowledge itself is not power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge and then the application of that knowledge is where the true power lies. And so for yourself, for ourselves, for those teams that we work with, again, whether it be at home or in the workplace, it is critical that we stand in who we are and maximize those moments. And I leave that with you. Own the helm. Know thyself, and to thine own self be true. And you will be the most successful person that you can be, because nobody else, no matter where they're from or how long they've been watching, they cannot be you. And if you're looking to make contact with me here at Kemp Solutions, it would be an honor. Please just scan the QR code. And there's many ways that I can help you find and master the path to leadership. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for the time. And I yield the floor to those esteemed MCs.